Which Tracfone plan should I put the kids on? Hey guys, today I thought I'd answer a question from YouTuber Latanya. She wants to know which Tracfone plan I think she should put her kids on. Let's take a look at the details here. So first she asks, where do you use data? Her kids have Tracfone. She has 2 of them. They're almost 12. They're first phones. She has them using Wi-Fi. So I'm going to assume that she has either got them Android phones or iPhones and that she bought them from Tracfone. I don't know. She didn't tell me that. Definitely using smartphones. She currently has them on the $15 plan. She's thinking about moving them to the unlimited $20 plan. One daughter has 2 months of rollover minutes and texts, but the other doesn't. She's figuring on moving both of them to the $20 plan rather than buying add-ons. So what do I think? Let's take a look at the plans first, just so everybody's clear about what we're talking about. They're currently on the Classic Service plan. That's $15 a month, 30 days of service, 500 minutes, 500 texts, 500 megabytes of data. So with Tracfone, you always have 4 things. This number of service days, that's the amount of time your phone stays active, the number of minutes for talk, the number of texts for sending messages, that's both sending and receiving, and then megabytes of data for getting on the internet, cellular data. So if you're on this plan, you need to buy a new plan every month to keep the phone active, but any unused minutes, texts, or megabytes of data will continually roll over as long as you keep the phone active. Now she's comparing that to the new $20 smartphone plan with unlimited talk and text and 1 gigabyte of data. And this is for 30 days. So you're getting unlimited talk and text every month. So there's no more minutes and rollover minutes. As long as you have active service on this plan, you can talk and text as much as you want. And then you have 1 gigabyte of data. If you don't use up all that data, the remaining amount will roll over from month to month with active service. So you're getting a lot more for $5 a month. Now, what do I think? Well, personally, if it was me, I'd like to spend as little money as possible getting the kids cellular service. So you need to figure out exactly how much cellular service do they need? How much time do you expect them to be talking on the phone? So that's the number of minutes. How many text messages do you think they're going to send and receive? And then how much are they going to use the internet? Now, you had started this by asking, where do you use data? Well, I would imagine if you're 11 or 12 years old, pretty much everything that you do on your phone that is fun requires using data. Now, I would guess that that would include watching videos like on YouTube, maybe using Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, or whatever the most popular social media is now. Maybe at 12, they're still a little young for that. I don't know. My kids are much older, so I don't know how old kids are when they get on social media these days. Now, I think Tracfone is a great choice for kids, but the numbers here, I think, add up to quite a bit of money. So currently on the Tracfone $15 a month plan, that's $180 a year. With 2 kids, that's $360 a year. If you go to the $20 plan, it's $240. With 2 kids, that's $480 a year. So you're spending between $360 to $480 to put the kids on these Tracfone plans. 2 kids, 2 phones. By the time they were 18, if they were to stay on these plans, you would have spent $2,160 or $2,880 on cell phone service for the 2 kids. That's quite a bit of money. Now, in addition to that, you're probably paying for cell service for yourself. And then you said you have them on Wi-Fi, so you're paying for Wi-Fi at home. So one of the things you might want to look at is how much you're spending on service for your cell phone bill, and then how much you're spending on it for the kids. Add that all up and see if you think you could get a better deal on another company on a family plan. Now, that's a lot of work because you probably bought these phones from Tracfone. They're probably currently locked and can only be used with Tracfone service. So then you're talking about replacing phones. But that's one way you can think about it. Add up the amount of money you're spending in your family on cellular service and then shop for the best deal on a family plan. Because when you add multiple lines to a plan, the prices can really go down. But if you were to stay on Tracfone, I think I'd actually reverse it. I'd want to pay for service days and then buy as few minutes, megabytes, and texts as needed. So you're really going to decide how much time do you expect your kids to be talking on the phone, how many text messages do you expect them to send, and then how much data do you want to pay for them to be able to use the internet when they're outside of the house. And that's really up to you. You need to make a decision about that. Now, the one thing I would say is that I would want to give my kids at that age as little cell service as possible. I'd want to lay down the law and say, you better always have minutes available for calling me or calling home in an emergency, and the same thing for text messages. You really need to enforce that. All right, now let's take a look at this $125 plan. If you were to put the 2 kids on that, it would be $250 a year. You'd automatically be saving $110, $230 per year over these other plans. So let's take a look at the plan. This plan comes with 1,500 minutes, 1,500 texts, and 1.5 gigabytes of data. I think that's a reasonable amount for an 11 or 12-year-old to have. There should be enough minutes and texts for calling home and enough data for getting online if they need to look something up. Now, it's probably not going to be enough data if they expect to be using their phones, watching YouTube. You have the service add-ons. You can buy an additional gigabyte of data for $10, and that doesn't expire. It'll stay on the account as long as it's active until it's used up. And then you can get 1,000 text messages for $5. So I think this is a much better way to go. Pay for the service days and then add on the minutes, megabytes, and text as needed. If you're spending too much on add-ons, then you want to look at bumping up to a different plan. But if you followed my model here, you could spend up to $110 or $230 on additional add-ons. So if you spent less than $110 on add-ons for the 2 girls over the year, this would still be a better bet. Now, you did mention that one of the girls already had rollover minutes and texts accumulated. If they're not going to spend a lot of time talking on the phone and you expect that they would accumulate minutes and texts over time, there's this really cool feature that Tracfone has. And if you bought your phones from Tracfone, you may qualify for it. And you can check out my article on Smartphone Matters. And this is the $50 365 service day add-on. So this comes with no minutes, megabytes, or text. This gives you 365 service days for $50. So it's a way to keep your phone active. If you have a balance of minutes, megabytes, and texts, then this is a very effective way to add more time to your Tracfone so that you can use up that balance. The only downside about what I'm telling you to do here is that you would need to pay for the entire year up front, and you may not want to do that. But you don't need to immediately do that either. You could start out with a 60-day or a 90-day service plan and work your way up to paying for 365 service days if you want to do that. The other thing that you could do is that you could pick the 90 service days. You could look to see if you get the 1-year add-on. So that would give you 90 service days plus 1 year. So you'd be getting 15 months of active service if you did that. Because when you add this to your account, this adds an additional year to your account, regardless of when you apply it. So if you have 3 months of service days and then you add this one, then you'd have 15 months of service days. All right, Latanya, I hope this helps you out. What do you guys think? What service do you have your kids on? Hit me up in the comments and let me know. That's it for this video, and I will talk to you next time.